Dave.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Have Your Cake and Eat It Too presentation on third-party maintenance. My name's Dave Whipple, and meet our Director of Sales, Joel Chait. A little housekeeping before we start. Everyone but presenters will be on mute. You'll be able to ask questions in Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer all of them by the end of the presentation. Attendees who schedule a 15-minute follow-up conversation with us afterwards, and with one of our professional staff members, we'll be asking you to provide a quick IT needs assessment, list of new or legacy equipment, software, professional services, so we can really look at where we can save you money. Okay, so next slide.
Very well. So the important objective of this presentation is, why is this important for you? Why should you know about third-party maintenance? Well, first of all, there's a study that was done by the SIA Service Industry Association, in which they calculated the IT market today. The maintenance market is about $26 billion. Most of this equipment is today being supported by the manufacturer, or not being supported because it might be too expensive. Maybe it's equipment that is not critical and there is no maintenance, which, you know, as every time you don't have any contract or maintenance contract on the equipment, you know, you're at risk. So there's a lot of equipment there that needs to be supported. There's an alternative type of support, which is what we offer. It's basically a high quality, very flexible and dependable quality support. And what's more important is it's tailored to your very specific needs. What are your real needs? What is that you require? And companies like us will tailor a support program that fits your real needs. The most important thing is that it's very affordable if you compare costs against what the manufacturer charges. And we basically focus on your maintenance. This is what we care for, so you can really focus on your business, and we'll take care of the support of your systems from you. So when you select a third-party maintenance company, there are a couple of things that you need to take into consideration. First of all, do they have a good history behind them? Have they been, how many years they've been in business? What are their cores and technologies? What is that they can offer in the support? In our case, ISC was founded in 2003, so we've been in the market for many years, basically focusing on providing support for our customers. Third, you want to work with a company that really focuses on hardware and software and no other additional things. This is the main product line is service and support. You also want to work with a company that has a wide geographical coverage. So if you have different sites in different cities or even countries, you want to make sure that one single company will provide you with the same quality of support in all those areas. You also want to be working with a company that has a very good quality control on their spares, because those are the spares that are going to be used in your contracts, and also good logistics to get the spares to the right place at the right moment so they can solve any issue you might have while you are under contract. And lastly, you should quiz this company on what additional tools they offer. There's many third-party companies out there, but many really go beyond the typical hardware break fix, like providing you with a remote monitoring software, as we do, and other technical advantages that they can offer you to make sure you feel comfortable giving your IT equipment for them to support. All right, Dave, this is yours.
Right. What you're looking at here is pretty much our wheel of life, our circle of life here at ISC Group. And we are your single source provider for maintenance as well as parts, refurbished equipment, depot repair. Plus, we can provide you new hardware and software solution with a wide range of vendors that we partner to provide you the best of breed technology solutions. We have teams of engineers that can assist in decommissioning your IT equipment and taking it away. In fact, we just did this week. We deinstalled a tape library from one of our customer sites and moved it and reinstalled it at another customer site for them, moving it and also updating all the information for the maintenance and support contract. We have a repair center that can assist when repairing your tape libraries, servers, storage, networking appliances. We offer professional services from assisting clients with upgrades of servers and storage to moving to the cloud and even rebuilding a SharePoint farm after a ransomware attack, which we just did recently. ISC Group is also a Microsoft Cloud partner and partners with many of the manufacturers to offer solutions so you can be prepared for technology today, but for tomorrow as well. And we can improve your security footprint with antivirus, firewalls, MDR, which stands for monitoring, detection, and remediation, and training and compliance with Arctic Wolf. So ISC offers hardware break fix under contract, known as third-party maintenance. We will get into the differences on the next few slides between us and what OEMs may offer, or T&M, time and materials as well. ISC Group is a value-added reseller with partners in almost all of the major manufacturers. And ISC Group offers factory certified equipment as well from HP, Dell, Cisco, and others when available. In many cases over the last 3 years, we were able to take care of customers' requirements much faster with these options than new because of the lead times. These products still come with warranty from the manufacturer as if new and can be added to manufacturer support contracts. We even find that in many cases, they are still new equipment and not recertified at all. We do extend the life of your equipment and support well beyond what the manufacturers would like. Oftentimes, we run into clients that don't have a plan on how to move their customized software off of the platforms that they have today. And it takes a lot more time than they expect to move it. So they may tell you, I only need support for 1 year. We're getting off these servers. I can almost guarantee they're going to be renewing that at the year end because it takes longer to write these custom software packages and convert them. So how long can we cover your equipment? As long as you need us to. We have customers that we're covering old equipment. We're covering old Sun servers and tape libraries that can be 30, 35 years old. So with us, you can keep your equipment up and running as long as you want to be on it. With ISC third-party maintenance and ISC CHS monitoring, we can dramatically cut downtime as we know there's an issue before you might know there's an issue. And then the major reason that folks go with third-party maintenance is a savings of up to 70% off what the manufacturer's support may cost you. We talk about savings versus the manufacturer. As many of the manufacturer's equipment gets older, they like to raise the prices on their support contracts to make it more likely that you'll upgrade to new hardware instead of sticking with your old equipment. And this is how they drive you to that new portion. We'll cover your equipment as long as you need at pricing that makes sense. We cover equipment in life as well as end of life. And this has been very important with lead times on new equipment being surprisingly long. Next slide.
All right, so here we have a map where you can see our footprint and where ISC is present. You can see we have our headquarters right here in San Diego, California. We also have regional offices in Mexico and 2 in Brazil, and we have a major hub in Frankfurt, Germany, where we dispatch all our parts for the EMEA region. In blue, you will see the countries where we currently have contracts that we are supporting. So as you can see, we can really expand and reach out to our customers to make sure they are supported in all the different sites with the same quality of support that they get here in North America. So if there is any place that you have locations and you don't see in the map, please contact us and we'll find a way to get you covered in those areas as well.
Great. We offer maintenance contracts as well as T&M, otherwise known as time and materials. Now, there's major differences. T&M is best effort, and maintenance contracts come with a service level agreement. This is very important because we have contracts that we have to live by. If you have a 4-hour response, we've got to do the 4-hour response to live within our contract. And that's why we are offering so many different options here. We can customize levels for you as well. So if you want to come to us and say, well, I really don't need 4-hour response, but I'd like to be contacted same day, we can do 7/24 next business day. So you can still talk to someone as soon as possible, or we can work out something like that. But we're very easy to work with when it comes to making sure we have a plan that works for you and has a contract. Without service level agreements, you have a T&M. Now, we're going to make sure you're happy with whatever you pick with us. But the bottom line is you need to understand, it doesn't matter what company you're doing T&M with, T&M is handled after service contract maintenance is handled. They have service level agreements and contracts they have to meet. So T&M often can be done after that. So if you have really important equipment that you want to make sure it's always up and running, or you can get the quickest service possible, you want to have a service support contract on it. And that's where we can really help you. So clients that need to know too, parts have to be readily available. And with a T&M contract, chances are it could be days or weeks to get that special part in with the firmware you may require to make your system up and running. So as part of a service level agreement contract or third-party maintenance contract, we are bringing the parts in, we're testing them and certifying them, and then sending them out to the local depots so they're there and ready for you. That's a major difference, and that's why the lead time, or I shouldn't say lead time, but your downtime is drastically reduced, and that's very important to your bottom line. Our maintenance has parts at the ready at the local depots, as I mentioned, firmware, as I mentioned, and technicians that are already set up and ready to go. We've already aligned the correct technicians with the correct experience to handle your products. And we work with them on the back end to make sure it's installed correctly. And if they run into any issues along the way, we're on the phone with them. So it's a great way to go. And another way to think of this is, if you have a car and you don't have car insurance, if you get in an accident, what happens? Well, basically, if you've got car insurance, okay, you do the report. You're going to have to do that either way. The car wrecker shows up. He knows where to bring it for the car insurance company. And then the process starts. And guess what? That's all taken care of minus your deductible. So that's great. You're taken care of there. They do the negotiating. They deal with the parts. They do all of that. Well, if you don't have car insurance, it's all on you. You have to decide where it's going, pay the tow company, and then start working out the process of how am I going to pay for all this? And it's all coming out of your pocket. So that's something else to think of. And by the way, car insurance companies do have a lot of buying power, so the parts are cheaper, and they can get things moving much faster, where if you're by yourself, you may be paying much more. And that's kind of how third-party maintenance can work for you as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, reasons you should change to third-party support. Well, the number one reason is right there on top. Our support can save clients up to 70% off what manufacturer support costs. Number two, our support costs end-of-life equipment. We cover end-of-life equipment, I'm sorry, for as long as you need it covered, extending the value of the investment you originally made. So just think about that for a minute. If you bought a server for $1,000 and you kind of looked at what it's going to cost you over 5 years, $200 a year or whatever it is, and now you're getting 20 years out of that. Think of what your cost is actually on that equipment. It's down to nothing. Probably what you're paying one of the Hulu or one of those folks a month. So it can very quickly get out of control, and that's why you want to have a third-party maintenance contract. Our compatible Cisco support supplies an iOS update only if needed to fix the unit. And this is a major differentiator. We want to make sure that you understand, a lot of people may say they support Cisco, but if needed, we can fix that unit with a piece of software from Cisco. And that's only if it's needed to be repaired. So I want to make sure that's clear. Our support gives clients a very good option when they do not have the budget to rip out and replace with new equipment, which happens often with our customers. They may be able to upgrade this year the switches, but can't do the servers and storage until next year. We can push that out with our support for another year. Our support protects clients from shorter and shorter lifespans from the OEMs. Another important point. We're seeing quicker and quicker turn of end of life announcements, and that puts you guys in a tougher position. So if we can help you extend that life and have you supported, great. Our support companies will let you select different levels of service for the same devices. And a good example here is the OEM will not let you most of the time. Oracle customers or Sun customers, if they order 10 servers and really only 2 are going in production with 7x24x4 support, Oracle would make you buy all 10 systems with the same level support. With us, that's not the case. You buy 10 servers, it's up to you how many you want to cover and at what level. We can do 2 at 7x24, and we can do the 6 at 5x9 by next business day. And if you want the other 2, we won't cover them at all until you want to put them under support. So that's really up to you. Our support can co-term all the different manufacturers of equipment that clients want covered at multiple sites. So let me say that again. You can have multiple sites. Maybe you have a data center in Mexico, you have a data center here in the US, and you want to cover all the equipment under one contract, and you've got Cisco in there and Dell and HP and tape libraries. We can do it all under one contract for you. So you only have one number to call when you have an issue. Doesn't matter if it's an HP part or a Dell part or a Cisco part. You've got one number to call, one portal you can use to start a ticket. Very, very easy. And try that with the manufacturers. It's never going to happen. So next slide. Lead times are a major issue right now. And this is why it's become so important for third-party maintenance, not just to cover your old equipment, but what we're finding is people are doing the right things. They're buying the equipment as it's about to go end of life, only to find out tape libraries that they may need are 2 years out. And that means you're sitting there for 2 years with no manufacturer support. So we can cover that equipment while you're waiting for that new equipment to come in. And again, we've customized this level for customers that aren't sure when that equipment's going to come in. They're being told 2 years. It could go longer. It could show up earlier. So we can customize a level where we do a 1-year contract and then bill monthly after that. We can be very easy to work with to make sure it's going to work for you when that new equipment comes in. And by the way, if it's server or storage, say that new unit does arrive, now you got to do the data transfer, and you want to be careful and take your time doing that correctly. So we can cover the existing system while you're doing that. So it may not just be a year, it could be a year and 4 months. Whatever it is, we can cover you for that time. Servers and storage can be up to a year right now, depending on the configuration and the manufacturer. And as far as networking switches, Cisco, Aruba, Extreme, Ruckus, we've seen up to a year or longer on some of these switches. In fact, I just talked with another client, has a Cisco network. It's 7 years old, so it's no longer supported by Cisco. And the switches that they have selected to purchase from Cisco are 1 year out. They were given 358 days as the lead time. And that's if you can believe it. So if you can't, first of all, you don't want to go without support. What happens if you start having switches fail or you have appliances fail that are from Cisco? We can cover all that equipment, take care of you, give you peace of mind while you're waiting for that new equipment to show up. And very happy to talk to you if you're in this situation. We'll cover you while you wait. Next slide. All
right. So one thing early on in our company that we understood is the value of the manufacturer of remote monitoring. You buy a brand new piece of equipment. You want to make sure that somebody's watching that system all day long for any malfunction, and you become accustomed to have that. So when you move to a third party like our company, that's the expectation you have. That's why ISC developed its own remote monitoring software years ago, because that's critical. Also, our approach was to create a unified multi-platform remote monitoring, which means basically one software that can monitor different type of brands, models of equipment at the same time. Currently, we have it available for Hitachi Systems, Sun, HP, NetApp, EMC, Brocade, Oracle, etc. As you can see, we're monitoring anything from large enterprise data storage equipment, servers, and all the way down to networking. So we pretty much have you covered in all the different areas. We are doing this constantly, 24/7, as I mentioned before. And most important is that you will know you have a failure when we call you and let you know you have a failure. But most important is that we're also gonna let you know that there is a field engineer on his way with a part under his arm to replace the failed part. That way, we are taking on that. We're taking ownership on the monitoring of your system, so to make sure it's running at all times. Our remote monitoring also includes what we call the heartbeat, which basically our servers are constantly pinging your system to make sure we have a connectivity. If we lose any connection due to a network failure or a cable failure, we will let you know right away. We don't want anything to happen during that time. The worst thing that can happen is for you to have remote monitoring but not have a connection, and then 24 hours pass by, something failed, and nobody knows. So we detect that, and we make sure that we're always connected and monitoring the system. One important story to remember, we have a very large customer in the financial industry. They had about, as soon as we implemented remote monitoring, we discovered they have 16 disks that failed already. They were about to lose their data. So we had to rush 16 disk drives to their site and replace them right away. And that only happened because we connected and we saw that. The customer probably had those failed drives for a long time, and they were just failing and failing more, and they were about to lose all the data. So that's why it's very important you work with a company that does have the tools to give you the peace of mind that somebody's watching over your equipment. All right. One important thing about ISC, and something we're very proud of, is that when you call ISC to open a service call, or even if you log into our portal to open a call, an engineer will be answering. So we don't have a call center that will be dispatching the calls, so they find the right engineer and time passes while you have an issue. The person that answers the call is gonna start the troubleshooting or guide you to the right person to start the troubleshooting. Our support center is manned by L1, L2, and L3 engineers. Those are the different levels of expertise, and they move up to the next level when an issue becomes difficult to resolve. They just move it to the L2 and then to the L3. But the idea is somebody's here to resolve your problem. We do also provide service performance metric reporting. So we have already a number of canned reports that we can offer you on a monthly basis, or maybe twice a month, or as often as you need it. If you do require any specific reporting on your failure rates or what have you, we can tailor it to meet your needs. At the ISC location here in San Diego, we do have a full laboratory. Every single system that we support out there in the field, we have it here, meaning that all the parts that we send to the field are tested in a real test bed in a real environment. Also, if there is any complex issue they are experiencing, we can duplicate the problem here in our lab, playing with our system so we don't mess with yours, and try to resolve your problem. So ISC is fully prepared to really support everything that we said we're going to support, and we back that up, by having the actual system functioning here in our lab. All right. Here's a list of all the different type of equipment that we support as a third party. If you notice, we are the leaders in Hitachi, in NetApp, in tape libraries. That's some of the cores. These are one of the oldest lines that we have worked with. And as you can see, by just looking at the different brands, we probably cover about 80% of the IT systems out there in the field. So more likely we'll be able to solve whatever need you have with your systems. We also have a very large network or partners that have very niche expertise on very specific systems or technologies that we can tap into. So we can offer really a very wide array of services of different brands and models.
Okay. Yes. So here's a list of all of our authorized partners. These are all the manufacturers, and this means we carry everything that these vendors have and all of their offerings. So, in many cases, we've been able to offer an alternative with much faster delivery times with a different enterprise manufacturer. A good example here is I had a customer that it called me for Aruba or Avaya switches, and the Aruba switches were a year out if they can even give a date. Most of the time they're not giving dates because they don't know when they're showing up, and that's still happening today. So my customer had a construction project. They couldn't wait. I walked them over to an Allied Telesys model that could give them the PoE multi-rate ports that they needed for their security switches, their access points, and of course they were ecstatic that I could deliver them in 3 weeks. So this very large distribution center is now up and running, and that's because we were able to get the equipment there when they needed it, and that's the way we treat our service as well. So we do also offer clients Dell Apex and HPE GreenLake. This is a great way, and a lot of customers are starting to head this way. They've already been doing it for years, but more and more customers are trying to get away from the hardware business, and they're looking to refocus their IT staff to new initiatives and work from vCenter or System Center in, overseeing their virtual systems that way. And the hardware is no longer their responsibility. Well, guess what happens when that equipment gets older? Dell doesn't support it anymore. They may bring us in to cover it. And of course, you don't know about any of this because it all happens on the back end. So we'd love to see how we can help you with things like that as well. And this gives the ability to, like I said, repurpose your techs and your engineers from the daily grind of patching and updating to really having them focus on new initiatives to grow the business. So that's where we are with a lot of these vendors right now. Also, can you go to the next slide there?
Sure.
These are the software groups that we sell, and you're going to see there's a lot of security, storage, and cloud here. We're a Microsoft Cloud partner, so we can help you with your billing and your Office 365. We've moved a lot of people to annual in the last year because it was saving them 20% over the price increases. So everybody was excited about that. We also are an Azure partner, so if you want to move things to the cloud, we can help you with that. In fact, we set up a city completely recently for a DR site so that if City Hall were to disappear today, they could be up and functional within hours from Azure. Hopefully that never happens, but they've got the ability to do that. Our goal is to be the one who you turn to for almost anything IT related, from protecting your legacy systems with support to assisting you to move into the cloud if that's your goal. Regardless, we want to have the people that can take care of you and the expertise that you need. ISC Group is all about offering our clients options for whatever they're trying to do next. Next slide. Okay. All right, this is basically how we feel about ourselves and what people say about us. We really do work our butts off for you. So this is a little comic relief from a cartoon that really nails it on point. As Joel will say, it's a little bit colder up in the Northeast, and it really doesn't happen to him in sunny San Diego. Yeah. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Okay, so we're at the point right now where you can see what's here in front of you. You can go to our website and check us out. There's remote monitoring that you can click on and go right to the site and see what's there from us. You can get a virtual tour of our facilities and our lab. Love to actually, if you're in the San Diego area, we'd love to bring you in for a tour. Of course, email us to request your meeting at any point to talk about your equipment coverage and even other projects that you may have at hand. But our goal is obviously to save you money on your support and put you in a much better position if you've got legacy equipment and you don't know how to protect yourself from it right now. So definitely reach out to us for that. But let's get to some questions. We've got some questions here from people.
By the way, Dave, if they want to click right here on the slide, it
Yes.
will take you to the website or any other sites here that when you click on the slide.
Great. And there's also our email there. That'll email right to all of our sales group too. So we'll get back to you very quickly if you'd like to get some questions answered or set up a time to meet. We can do that way too. But let's go through the questions. We've got a couple here. Joel, can you support equipment with different SLAs in one contract?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, we can tailor to whatever your needs at. If you have critical equipment that has a 7x24x4 SLA, we can do that. If you have less critical equipment, you want to keep it on an NBD or a 9x5x4, whatever SLA you need, we can mix and match. It doesn't really matter to us.
Okay, great. Can you add equipment to the contract as it comes off warranty?
Yes. So if you start a contract with us with a number of systems and eventually want to add more, you can do that. That's not a problem. As well, if you need to take equipment off the contract, we can also work with you on that way. We're very flexible in that regard. If you want to have all your equipment, different brands, different models, coterminous with whatever date you need, we can also accommodate to that requirement.
Okay, great. Do you need to install a server or device in our environment for your remote monitoring?
No, you don't. So we understand that customers don't like to have additional devices in their environment. So we do not send you a device or a server. Basically, you pick which server you want to use in your own environment. As long as it's a Windows server, you decide where you want to put it, or if you already have one existing one, you can use that one as well. So we don't require you to do any special installation for us, and we don't send you any special system to install. And I'd like to take the opportunity to also mention that in our remote monitoring, all the communication is outbound. So we don't go into your system. Basically, you open a few ports on your firewall to allow messages to go out, but nothing goes in. So we don't go into your system without any type of authorization.
Right. We're looking just at the BIOS, no data whatsoever.
Exactly.
Okay. Good question, though. Can you remote monitor work on an offsite virtual server?
Yes, it can. We actually have a few customers where they have two different sites, but the remote monitoring is being done from one of the sites, and they can be, different states, different cities, and even different countries. As long as there is a connectivity between them, we can do it.
Okay, great. It sounds like one of our customers had some experience with other third-party maintenance companies. He's asking how we're different from other third-party companies.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because you do have a lot of options, and there are a lot of very good companies out there. That's important to recognize. ISC, it's a very dedicated company where we start as a niche company. We come from the tape libraries, enterprise tape libraries, which for many years were the toughest systems to support. Why? Because these are electromechanical and they require a lot of extra knowledge to support. So a lot of the third parties that you work with out there are either working or have worked with ISC. So they come to us, they subcontract ISC to do the work on some of the more complex systems because they don't have those capabilities. Again, there are a lot of very good companies out there, but we have helped or are helping a lot of them to support customers. So coming from tape libraries, we start also developing solutions for disk, and eventually we got into the servers and the switches, but we came from the toughest part of the IT world to the easiest one. So I feel we are very solid on our support, especially on the very high-end type of equipment.
Okay, great. Well, that looks like the list of questions we have at this point, Joel. I think that went very well. Please, by all means, folks, if you click on the email above, or if you've got other questions and didn't get them in today, or think of them after this, please reach out to us. We'd be very happy to answer them and get back to you as soon as possible. And please reach out, because we'd love to set up a meeting with you and talk to you about what you're up against.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for participating in our webinar. Again, if you have any question, you have all those links in the last slide, and contact us, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.